right, guys, Wes here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got some brand new details for God of War Ragnarok that just got revealed by PlayStation. We're going to talk about the brand new combat mechanics that are going to be featured in God of War Ragnarok. We're going to go into some details regarding some of the new customization options, the brand new threats of the realms that we got revealed by PlayStation, some of the new weapons. We just got even more news for the performance mode option in God of War Ragnarok. So be sure to stick around until the end of the video because you guys do not want to miss out on all of this news. Also, real quick, guys, I'm giving away a PlayStation 5 for 70,000 subscribers, as well as a game of your choice. So if you want to win a copy of God of War Ragnarok, to enter, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, comment your Twitter handle, follow me on Twitter, and tweet me proof that you're subscribed. The winner will be announced at 70k subs. All right, we're just going to go ahead and jump into all of the news for God of War Ragnarok. PlayStation just released a new blog that is titled New Details on Kratos' Expanded Combat Options, Unique Realms to Explore, Vicious New Enemies, and more. This video will not be containing any story spoilers, so you're good to go to watch this one, especially if you want to get yourself prepared for Kratos and Atreus' new adventure. Starting things off with the article, they stated mythical immersion on PS5, Winter Wonder. The world of Midgard sparkles on PS5 thanks to crisp 4K visuals, fluid frame rates. They played on performance mode, the actual director of communications. Fimbulwinter is creeping across the lands, including Kratos and Atreus' homestead. Snow crumbles and parts of characters trudge through it. With light catching tiny ice crystals on its surface, frozen waterfalls stand like intricate towering art pieces. The atmosphere of this snow-covered Midgard captures the serene vibe of a winter walk in the woods perfectly. The next section that they highlighted states haptic immersion. Sony Santa Monica has taken full advantage of the DualSense wireless controller's haptics. One sequence involves dog sledding. The DualSense controller's haptic thrumbled in my hands, conveying both a deep rumble of rushing land and lighter clumps of snow. In combat, the Leviathan axe packs an extra visceral punch, and then they stated once the axe actually gets recalled, the Leviathan axe lands in your hand with a meaty thud. So from everything that they described, it's looking like God of War Ragnarok is going to have a brand new level of immersion that we've not gotten from a PlayStation title yet, especially whenever it comes to utilizing the haptic feedback on the DualSense controller. Next up, let's talk about the versatile combat options. There's a combat feature called Death from Above. Kratos can now take a sprinting leap off a cliff and slam into enemies below. They stated a furious intro to any group fight that stuns enemies. This new combat option is a potent example of God of War Ragnarok's increased focus on verticality in the environment, which is definitely an aspect that I'm really happy that they're doing. In God of War 2018, it felt like you were pretty limited on places that you could go. So I'm really hoping that there's a lot more range of motion for Kratos and Atreus, because the previous game seemed a little bit limited, especially in hindsight. If you look at the God of War Ragnarok footage, this game just seems like it's a lot more fluid with a bunch more movement options. Next up, we've got a new combat option called Stay Frosty. The triangle button used for equipping and recalling the Leviathan axe can now be pressed when held to apply a Frost Awaken effect to your next melee or ranged attack. Pressing R1 during Frost Awaken executes Frozen Breach, a wide swing, and applies frost to nearby enemies. Aiming while pressing R1 during Frost Awaken executes Frozen Spike, a quick throw of the Leviathan axe that creates a frost explosion on impact. Kratos' expanded range of elemental attacks injects refreshing new options into each encounter. So that right there is pretty exciting. Next up, we've got the Flaming Blades of Chaos. Similar to the Leviathan axe's Frost Awaken, you can now mash the triangle button with the Blades of Chaos equipped to perform a flame whiplash. This charges Kratos' chained implements with fire, and the PlayStation blog stated that this is great for melting enemies' icy defenses. More importantly, Kratos looks undeniably cool spinning the blades chained to stoke the flames. Next up, we've got a combat option called Holdra Homestead. Tim, the author of this blog, stated Kratos and Atreus visit Brock and Sindri's shop and home to gear up. While there, I upgraded my Leviathan axe to level 2, boosting damage significantly and unlocking a new tier of skill tree abilities. Atreus was also outlined with a new armor. Tim stated that his favorite detail is the inclusion of a chest containing lost loot, where the Holdra brothers store any resources that the players may have accidentally left lying on the battlefield. Now, since we're on the topic of Brock and Sindri, let's talk about gear customization. The blog stated once again you can customize your weapons and armor, including slottable gems for Kratos' Leviathan axe. After After a certain battle, they acquired Winter's Bite, a light runic attack that forms a mass of ice around Kratos' axe for extra damage. And then they stated that another applies a flaming uppercut style attack on the Blades of Chaos. So TLDR, the customization in terms of the Leviathan axe as well as the Blades of Chaos is going to be present, and for that reason, I cannot wait to dive into it. Continuing on with customization, Kratos' Guardian Shield is damaged during battle, and Brock offers to craft an additional defense while he works on repairs. Players can pick from 2 new shields to start with, and eventually players will be able to scrounge some resources to craft all of the shields. Now, I left out the shield names for spoilers. I'm trying to be as vague as possible so you guys can actually go to the PlayStation blog and read for yourself if you would like to see the spoilers. All right, next up, we've got Threats of the Realms. The article stated, Thor Throwdown. If you love the bombastic Baldur encounter at the start of God of War 2018, look forward to a clashing axe and hammer with Thor in a similarly spectacular battle. Now, this of course was showcased in the trailer, but the biggest point that I want to highlight is the fact that Mjolnir has lightning infused blasts, area of effect volleys, and more, which obviously with this being Mjolnir, it does make sense that there is a lightning component to the attacks. Next up, we've got Raider Rumble. Hardy, violent raiders wander the wildlands attacking Kratos because they know he's responsible for bringing on Fimbulwinter. The blog stated that these melee and ranged foes are easy fodder for sharpening your melee skills and satisfying test dummies to boot. Now, there's a bunch of more foes that they actually talked about in the blog that I'm going to avoid because you guys are definitely going to want to experience that stuff first time for yourself whenever the game comes out. Next up, let's talk about the exploration and side quests as described by the PlayStation blog. Tim stated that fans who adore turning over every stone in the realm can rest assured that exploration is abundant and rewarded in the sequel. While venturing through a charming yet uninviting dwarven town, Kratos and Atreus cross paths with a certain character where they have the ability to right the wrongs of a certain other character in the group. There's something called a dwarven compass in the game. Sindri bestows a beautiful gift upon Kratos, a compass that allows players to track objectives on the map and then follow a compass at the top of the screen towards their destination. Moving right along, we've got some new details for God of War Ragnarok's graphic modes. First and foremost, we have favor resolution that is 4K 30 FPS locked, and then we've got favor performance that is 60 FPS locked, and then we've got some options that HDMI 2.1 is required. The first one is favor resolution high frame rate on, which is 4K at 40 FPS locked. HDMI 2.1 is required, and then favor performance high frame rate on, targeting 120 FPS, and an HDMI 2.1 is once again required. So yes, the Sony Santa Monica developers were able to get 120 FPS mode working on the PlayStation 5 using HDMI 2.1, and for that reason, I'm so thankful that they decided to do that because that is likely the mode that I will be playing on. Although I definitely will be trying out 4K at 40 FPS because that also seems pretty awesome. Overall, God of War Ragnarok is looking like it's got a ton of new options that we should all be super excited for, and I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg. Once the reviews come out, I'm sure we're going to get even more details for God of War Ragnarok, so if you guys want to stay up to date on that, definitely like the video, subscribe to the channel with your notifications on, and definitely tune into the channel because you guys do not want to miss out on everything. Also guys, the 70K subscriber PS5 giveaway is still ongoing, so be sure to enter that giveaway. Best of luck, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I will talk to you guys on the next video.